makes a mistake towards the end. He's another one that's been kind of up and down all year. Now that they are 8-3 and they've been playing well of late, but I think when you run into a team like the Saints, I just think they're better offensively, and they just have more weapons overall, I think. So I'm going to go with the Saints as well. Rams at Cardinals. Cardinals are 5-6. They beat Jacksonville last week, and the Rams ended up beating the Saints by like a touchdown or something. So it could be kind of competitive.
Blaine Gabbert beat the Jaguars.
Yeah, he did. He went out there and beat his former team, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I just don't like the Cardinals right now. I mean, Blaine Gabbert is your starting quarterback.
Yeah, that's a problem. I'm going to go with the Rams as well.
And the Rams are really flying high. Todd Gurley and Jared Goff are playing really well. The offense is clicking. The schemes are looking good. They're opening up holes for Gurley. He's hitting them, and Goff is looking like how a number 1 overall pick should look.
Now, if they win this game, they'll be 9-3, and that's something I don't think we ever thought that the Rams would be, especially when they were still in St. Louis. It
was more of their insistence on keeping Jeff Fisher around was part of the problem.
Got to keep Jeff Fisher. He knows what he's doing.
Your guy, Jeff Fisher.
Yeah, jeez. We got the last 3 o'clock game is Giants at Raiders. Pretty safe to say, especially without Eli Manning.
Well, it's not that they're doing it without Eli. It's that they're starting Geno Smith.
Yeah, which we already saw how that train wreck went with the Jets. Didn't go so well.
Clearly, the Giants weren't paying attention to the other side of town.
No, I don't think they were.
I'm going with the Raiders, and I think it's disrespectful what they did to Eli Manning. Here's the thing that I'm looking at. Like, okay, let's say the Giants had, traded up in the draft and took Patrick Mahomes or Deshaun Watson, and they want to give one of them a look. I totally understand that. You're giving Geno Smith the start?
Right.
If you had like a young quarterback that you wanted to see what they could do, I totally get that. Except like Geno Smith doesn't give you a better chance to win, and he's not going to be part of the solution in the future either.
Right. Now, the only thing I would understand is if Eli Manning is injured, which he's not, apparently. He's
the fact he started 210 consecutive games and they offered to let him start the games just to keep it going, and he's just like, whatever.
The last time that he didn't start a game for the Giants was the week after George Bush was reelected, so that was like November 2004. He's been the Giants starter ever since. From that, and now you're going to bench him. It is pretty disrespectful. If you're going to move a different direction next year, which it looks like they're going to, and they're going to be, in a big rebuilding mode, then why not let Eli finish out the last 4 games, have the fans come out and see him one last time, things like that. It's just
that's a good point.
I mean, he's a Super Bowl champ, 2-time Super Bowl champ. He has as many rings as Peyton.
He defeated Tom Brady in the Super Bowl twice.
Yeah,
and
made some incredible plays down the stretch. I mean, the guy knows how to win. Now, his numbers have been down the last few years. There's no question about that. But you're going to bench him for Geno Smith.
See, like, as I said, if you had drafted a quarterback early last year or the year before and you want to give them a look, give them some experience in a lost season, that's totally okay, except I feel like there's just no loyalty there. Like, that's humiliating to be benched for Geno Smith.
Yeah,
I don't know. Is Ben McAdoo like trying to make an audition for next year when he inevitably gets fired, hoping that someone will be like, "Oh, Geno Smith wasn't terrible under Ben McAdoo. We want to bring him aboard."
Geno Smith only threw 15 interceptions the last 4 games. We were thinking he would throw more like 20. So we're both going with Oakland. That's pretty easy. Oakland would be 6-6 at that point. They're still in the playoff hunt, I guess. Sunday night game should be pretty good. Eagles at Seahawks. It's really hard to beat the Seahawks at home. I think they only have 8 losses at home since Russell Wilson became the starter.
Hey, Matt Ryan and the Falcons beat him a couple weeks ago.
They certainly did. And the Eagles are flying high. They're 10-1. They look like the best team in the NFL and definitely the best team in the NFC.
Yeah, they definitely are going to be flying high after that win over the Bears.
Yeah,
I'm going with the Eagles. I mean, they really do look unstoppable, and Seattle has lost quite a lot defensively with Richard Sherman and Cam Chancellor being out. Those are their big strength is that secondary is so hard to throw against, and you've got Sherman and Chancellor out.
I think Russell Wilson is going to have a little bit of magic in this game, as he tends to do against the good teams, especially in the playoffs, like when he beat Aaron Rodgers and when he beat some of these other teams. But it's so hard to pick against the Eagles. I have to go with the Eagles as well. I think this game is going to be close. I don't think it'll be a blowout by any stretch. I saw some score predictions earlier today where they were saying, Eagles are going to win by 3 touchdowns. And
that's not going to happen.
That doesn't happen when you play Seattle at home. So I'm going to go with the Eagles, though. I'd say something like 21-17 or something like that. And the Monday night game, Steelers at Bengals. The Bengals are 5-6, which kind of surprised me because I hadn't been following them at all, and I thought they were just terrible. But they do have 5 wins.
Yeah, well, 2 of them are against the Browns.
It's always nice when the Browns are in your division.
Right. It's nice when you look when the schedule comes out and you're like, okay, so we're already 2-0.
Yeah, and the Steelers look like they're finally starting to click offensively really well at the right time, with Antonio Brown making that incredible catch. I couldn't believe that catch that he made to set up the game-winning field goal, and Le'Veon Bell doing his thing. So, yeah, I think the Steelers are going to win that one pretty easily.
I mean, the Bengals aren't very good. I mean, Andy Dalton has been terrible this year. Their defense hasn't been very good. They've been getting out-coached a lot, and Marvin Lewis probably will be returning next year.
Why not, right? It's the Marvin Lewis show there in Cincinnati. We do have one more game to talk about, the Bears and the 49ers. Real quick, what do you think is going to happen?
I think Trubisky's going to light it up this week.
Well, you think against a bad team like that he'd be able to. If they would do the right play calls for
that's
him.
If the Bears, that's if John Fox and Dowell Loggins open up the playbook and let him do it.
Yeah.
Next thing you know, we see they run the first 9 plays of the game and go 3 and out on all the drives.
Right. I know in one of my fantasy leagues I have Jordan Howard, which is an obvious start. And then I have Tariq Cohen on my bench in that league, and I'm thinking about starting him this week just because it's the 49ers, and if they're opening up the playbook, I mean, Tariq Cohen is kind of one of the best receivers on the team, so you might as well have him in there as a start. I think that might be a good idea.
And here's the thing, when they've opened up the playbook, they've looked good. Like against Green Bay, Trubisky threw for 297 yards. His best game in the NFL, and then they haven't really been doing the same thing after that.
Right, it's like they're good one week, and then they just go away from everything that was so successful.
We were so successful doing this last week. However, we're going to go back to what hasn't worked.
However, let's just keep handing the ball off to Jordan Howard against the Eagles of all teams.
Let's call a run up the middle on 4th and 8.
Yeah.
I think they should. I mean, this is the kind of game that Trubisky can go off and really make a statement.
Right. I completely agree. I think the Bears are going to get a win. Not that we
should be a nice day
care,
for a December game. It's going to be, I believe, the high is supposed to be like 51 or 52.
Wow, that's something. Are you going to the game?
I am going.
Okay. Well, it looks like you might see a win, so that's pretty exciting. Something that we don't get to see very often at Soldier Field, so should be good. So we're both going with the Bears. Okay, we're going to take a break. We're going to come back. We're going to talk about the Cubs. We're going to talk about offseason moves that they should make, that we want them to make, and that we think they're going to make. And, we'll talk about other stuff in baseball, too. You're listening to Sports Renegades, SportsTownChicago.com.